Before we do anything more, I'd like to ask Mr. Gideon Sam, Chairman of SASCOC, to come up and address you.
We need to get busloads of kids coming in here and be inspired by what we have in this museum.
A significant motivating factor for us to join forces with the Gulf Heritage Trust and Barry Cohen is that we recognize the importance of preserving this museum. One more time.
It's been a wonderful morning and afternoon, morning of golf with all our legends here, and this afternoon with Gideon Sam from SASCOC opening the museum, Selvin Govender from Mercedes-Benz, who has announced a 3-year sponsorship, and the awarding of Sally Little honorary PGA membership. The importance, I think, really is because national government has now seen what the South African Gulf Heritage Trust has been trying to achieve. This museum is really a spectacular, not only museum, but heritage for the country, for future generations, and inspiration for our junior golfers for years to come.
Mercedes-Benz Africa and the Golf Hall of Fame, we believe, is an absolutely fantastic partnership. Mercedes-Benz has been involved in golf for many, many years. We host some of the biggest amateur tournaments in the country. For the first time now, we actually get to participate with an organization that actually supports the development of golf and also preserves our heritage, our golfing heritage. You see some of the most exciting memorabilia here at the Golf Hall of Fame. And it's so important that we allow our youngsters to be exposed to this and really understand where does the sport come from and where it's going to.
The thing about this collection of golfing memorabilia is that it was a brainchild of mine which started years ago, probably as many as 15 or 20 years ago, when I got the bug and I realized that there was such a massive tradition in the background and in the whole history of the game of golf, and particularly with the South African background with Bobby Locke and Gary Player, and then more recently Ernie Els and Retief Goosen. And at the time they were the superstars that I was interested in. But as I started delving, I realized there was more and more to the game. There was just a fascination of terms of old and memorable items that could be collected. And it revolved around so many different things: golf balls, golf clubs, and then more particularly the history of the game in South Africa itself. And this related to the first golf clubs, Royal Cape, Royal Johannesburg, Royal Durban, the Port Elizabeth Golf Club, and the events that were taking place in this country. And there's a huge history involved in all that. And this intrigued me, but as I got more and more into it, I realized there was more and more to collect. And there's such a huge library in the golf world of magazines and books and authors who've made huge contributions. And I got into collecting all those things. And they're all now in this golf museum and in this Hall of Fame. And it's just such a wonderful collection of the history of the game in South Africa, with such important people as Sid Bruce, who was the first professional who really put South Africa on the map, followed by Bobby Locke, and then by Gary Player and Harold Henning. And so the history goes through the whole gamut right up to the wonderful youngsters who are now playing golf so well right around the world. And it's the memory of all of them that this museum is dedicated to those people, the people who've established the history. But I think at the same time, what we have seriously acknowledged in this museum is the role played by the non-white golfers going way back into the 1930s and further back, and then the breakthrough with obviously with Papua Sogolum, with Vincent Chabalala, and with others. And I think that's another important part of this collection which we've concentrated on and which has become, very significant.
We've been in the process of building this thing over a couple of years, and I was staggered at how incredible it really is. It talks to you. I've been privileged enough to see the two other Hall of Fame museums around the world, and this rivals both of them. And I'm so thrilled to see the detail that is in this museum and the history of all the different sections. I mean, it really is something that every person in this country in sport should see, not only golfers. Number one, it has a heartbeat. And, in any sport, one needs a history. And I'm so pleased that Barry Cohen had the vision to get behind this, and he's put a lot of heart and soul into it. And if you go through it, it really speaks to you about how many people have given to this game over the years in the Southern Hemisphere, so to speak, and he's captured it all here. So for me, finally, it's so great to see it acknowledged and finally have sponsorship behind it, because for this game to grow, one must always have a history, like in any sport. And for youngsters to come in here and see, I was looking back here, on the wall here, my clubs. I look at these golf clubs that I played with. They are like 1968 blades. They were my treasures. But I promise you today, I don't think I could break an egg with them. That's how far equipment has come in the world. And these things are like butter knives. They were so tiny, their heads took up the whole ball. So you couldn't miss it. Nowadays you can hit it on the toe, you can hit it on the heel. But when I look at these clubs, I'm actually shocked that I could play golf like I did with those clubs. So it's quite hysterical for me to see how far the game has come. And it would be fun one day for all of us to go out and play with all of these old clubs and see how well we would do.
This place is wonderful. It's exciting to see it, that it has been now matured in such a way. Barry has done a lot of work. We talk about 4 years, and then we are grateful to say he managed to put everything together. And we are really supporting him. We are saying, Barry and all the other people involved, well done. Golf, being a young man, it's inspiring in a sense that you love the sport and you tried harder, and then you become a champion because of something that you are passionate about it. And that is why even today we are still playing this noble game of golf, which makes us to meet all the people and the friends, John Bland and the others, Roger Vessel and so on. It's such a wonderful thing. Golf to me has made me to understand that in life there's a purpose, and the purpose in life to me has been to play good golf, tour around the world playing golf. If it wasn't golf, I wouldn't be seeing all this world and meeting all these friends internationally. So I am very much passionate about this game. It's just done wonders for me, created opportunities. People like Gary Player has been there helping me a lot. We're still friends even today and so on. And then obviously it keeps us fit, which is the most important thing.
I think we have the most amount of golf courses in the country per capita, and it's a sport that many of our traditional Mercedes-Benz customers also associate with. We have a huge database of customers that play the sport, and I think it's very important that we reward them as well in terms of, from a brand perspective, for supporting the brand as also being involved in the sport that they're involved in. And that's where a big part of our lifestyle sponsorship of the golf platform comes from.